What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today, as you can tell from the title alone, this is my team of the season so far predictions for this week that's coming up. I think by the time this video go out, it will be tomorrow, so as of Friday. The new team will be out, this time being the LIGUE, and a lot of cards in this team, as you'll go on to see, are very impressive. Throughout the year, we've had a lot of overpowered LIGUE cards, and that's because a lot of them are like, you know, they have the 5-star skills or at least weak foot. And you know, when it comes to defenders, maybe they're not as impressive, but will be very linkable cards because there's so many good French players in this year's game, and you will see a lot of nice cards in all the positions that you just be like, I'd really like in the team, even if you don't really fit, especially the attackers, as I'll get onto. Anyways, I thought I'd just give you a little, you know, taster for what's coming up in this video. So just before we get on with the actual predictions and the players I'm talking about, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You know, it means a lot to me, and I'm trying to grow the channel as always. And possibly, you know, sharing this video. That'd be much appreciated as well, as I am trying to grow the channel. And I want to get everything back up and running. And with that being said, I'll get on with the players and discussing what I reckon is yet to come. So for the first screen, you know, now that the intro's out of the way, for the bench, we'll start with, or at least half the bench that I've put together. I did settle for Lecomte as the goalkeeper. There's always 2 goalkeepers in each squad, and Lecomte definitely deserves to be in here, as the starting keeper does too, as we'll get onto it. Pablo as a guy who's not really going to be used that much, but he does deserve to be in terms of performances, and I didn't know who else to put on the bench, so Pablo gets in there for me. Golovin, I believe his name is. Either way, this guy is a Russian midfielder who is really good. I used him very early on this game because, you know, he offers a good few links to a lot of Monaco players, and he was obviously good back then, but most players were, as you know, the power curve was very low. Now we're looking at players that need to have like high 80s and 90s. For a box-to-box like this guy, should be pretty good. As you can see, the stats that I've put on him are pretty impressive, but it's all about how they're playing game, what traits they have, and what links they offer. Of course, you're not going to force him into your team if he truly just cannot fit in your team. And then for the next set of bench players, I know I'm rushing through this a little bit, but Renato Sanchez is a player who I think a lot of people will want. Obviously, he plays for Lille, and that offers a lot of good links in itself. Maybe it would have been better last year, but either way, this Sanchez does have multiple special cards in the game. I believe he has a footmus. I could be wrong on that. That could be last year. And he also has a shapeshifter, but the shapeshifter is a left back, so this will be a big upgrade on any of his cards as a midfielder. And as you can see with the physical stats and just all-roundedness from this Renato Sanchez, everyone will want him, I'm sure. Dolberg, as a guy who I think will be very overlooked. Obviously, as a striker, you need weak foot and skill moves, and I'm not too sure what Dolberg has by default. But as we've seen here and there throughout all these team of season squads, they have upgraded the weak foot and or skill moves, just like they did with Foot Birthday, but just not as lenient and not as charitable with it, as you know, obviously they were offering 5-star weak foot and skill moves, and EA don't seem to be doing that. They seem to be, you know, just trying to save players. For example, that Adama Traore, who had a I don't know, 2-star weak foot or something, and they only upped it by 1, but it does make a lot of difference in a game. And then as another Lille player, in Victor Osimhen, I do like this guy. He did have a future star that I didn't fully complete. I got about halfway through and then run out of time. But I have played against, you know, his best cards, and it's pretty difficult to play against, I must say. I think he's very tall, and you know, with that he's very strong. So he's a more potent striker, target man, and with those stats, he should definitely be very, very good. But maybe I'm just been too generous with the actual upgrades I've given on these cards. So as it says in all of these team season videos, don't take the stats literally. It's only really a rough estimate from me. Moving on to the starting 11, you know, first with the goalkeeper, as I always do. I did settle for Keylor Navas as PSG's shot stopper. Now obviously, it's no surprise that a PSG goalkeeper is in the team this season, but Navas specifically does deserve to be in here because of how good he's played all year. I believe in terms of FIFA, he's got like 2 or 3 informs, so that is a tell in its own. Obviously, he didn't get a headliner, but who cares about goalkeeper headliners? And at this point, who cares about goalkeepers in general, just because they're all pretty juiced as it is. And to me, I honestly think EA should take away chem styles from goalkeepers, just because you can have a bang average goalkeeper, but he gets plus 10s on everything and plus 5s on speed. And so he instantly becomes almost as good as any other keeper, and I don't think it should be like that. It should feel rewarding to get like a 95 or even 96 or 97 rated goalkeeper, because goalkeepers like Alisson just are too inconsistent. And then, you know, mid Van der Sar is one of the most expensive keepers on the game. To me, that makes no sense, but obviously I own him and I know how good he is. I just want to know why he plays so well, and why goalkeepers are so hit and miss in this game, and I really hope that he changes. Anyway, we'll move on to the defense. Obviously, I've mentioned why Keylor Navas deserves to be in here, as you know, he's been very good in real life. But now, obviously, throughout this entire squad, we will meet. And now, obviously, we will see a lot of PSG players throughout this entire squad, but that's a given, seeing as they kind of run away with the league every season. And I'm not too sure how close it is this year. I know in the past couple of years, there's been new players cropping up. For example, Lille, especially when MBAPPÉ sprung up into action, and obviously Monaco, Nice, maybe. Just, you know, players here and there, just really carrying the teams. And there's a lot of players in Ligue 1 that I'd like to see signed for, you know, like Premier League, just so I can see them, because I personally don't watch that many, you know, other leagues, just because it's hard to keep up. But obviously at the moment the only league, is Bundesliga, so everyone's kind of watching that, you know, because they're missing football. Anyways, we'll move on to the defenders. Marquinhos, Silva, and Amavi, all very good players. Thiago Silva will be an interesting one, because obviously he is the highest rated, but he is also the slowest. With that, he is easily the best at defending and the strongest. Pretty much best in almost everywhere but pace. But that's just because Thiago Silva's always been like that. You know, he's a bit taller, a bit stronger, and he has been world class for years on end. And whilst he is getting old now, playing for PSG, you know, it helps. It lets you maybe your career go on for a bit longer. I guess that's why Ibra stayed there for longer. But here, as you can see, all three of these players in a back four will be very nice. There is obviously no right back here, and that's just because I was struggling to find people. So you could potentially put, you know, a Brazilian fullback either side, you know, to link to Marquinhos or Silva, and that them, you know, as a four would be very good. But Amavi did have a birthday card, I believe, and it is a direct upgrade from that. Only thing is, obviously, he doesn't have the 5-star weak foot or skill moves. But he should be good either way. Obviously, I've made him a lot faster and all round just better, as with all of these cards. And then Marquinhos is a very fast centre-back and good at defending. But his dribbling is quite low, and I'm not sure how tall he is. And I just reckon maybe he won't be one of the better centre-backs in the game because of that. You know, in terms of Brazilian alternatives, you do have Diego Carlos or Militao. And even that flashback David Luiz is still very usable at this point in the game. Anyways, we'll move on to the midfield. As you know, I've kind of brushed over exactly what you need to know about the defenders. And I'll go over some ideas that I have for this promo in a second. With the midfielders, I did settle for Angel Di Maria, Marco Verratti, I believe. We'll just call him Verratti, in case that's not his first name. Cyprian and Idrissa Gana Gueye as two players very similar in terms of, you know, the average height, if not a bit smaller. Not actually too sure about Cyprian, but they are fast midfielders, and you know, you probably want to play them as CDMs, so box to box. Specifically Cyprian, as he obviously has decent attacking stats to go with it. Idrissa Gana Gueye is an all-out CDM, but obviously is better, you know, defending. And then Verratti is a player who's really not that usable at this stage. No one's going to be excited about him, but every year he makes it into the team of the season because he's very consistent about the way he plays, and therefore he gets a lot of team of the weeks throughout the years. And Di Maria is a player who's kind of popped off this year, as he should. He's a very good player. I guess maybe when you go through a dry spell of you know, coming off the back of being one of the best players in the world at one point. It kind of dropped off a bit, but you know, being at PSG, he's still doing alright, at least, and definitely deserves to be in the squad for me, just because of the amount of special cards and the amount of goals and assists that he's contributed this season. And I'll move on to the players around him. You know, been the two that you already know are in this squad. But yeah, Di Maria is a very good player, very sought after, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went and upgraded his weak foot, at least a 3-star, just because they really should do that, and it would save his card a lot. There are a lot of players throughout all these Team of the Season teams now where they have 5-star skills and 3-star weak foot, and it's a shame, really, because you know, like Odegaard or Ziyech, or even Rashford, they're very good players, but they're so one-sided and so two-dimensional, and you want to be able to at least, you know, work off of a lot of their strong points without having to focus which side to take it all on. But that's just my take on weak foot players, and I guess I just really hope you know, give him a big boost, maybe even 4-star, but that's you know, it's high hopes in it. Anyways, that does pretty much settle the midfield for me. There's one wide player, 3 centre mid box to box or CDMs, and Cyprian for me looks like the most exciting out of the CDMs, and Di Maria looks to be very good. Anyways, we'll move on to the attack now. Obviously Di Maria would have been there, but I just felt like putting 4 midfielders. I feel like overall it makes the team look a bit better, but I haven't done an end screen in a while now, just because it takes a lot longer to do it, and I feel like at that point you don't really need any more graphics. You've seen all the players, there's no point. So I just save myself the time, and I get to focus on actually talking about these cards and what to expect in the teams. Moving on to the attackers now. As you can see, these 3, honestly, I hate any time I came up against them. Any card, even Ben Yedder's normal card at one point, would have absolutely rinsed teams. And so for the attack, as you can see, it's Kylian Mbappé, Wissam Ben Yedder, and Neymar Jr. All 3 of these cards together actually make me feel a little bit sick, because we all know how overpowered they are, especially, you know, that link up you can get with Mbappe and Neymar. And now through leaks, I have managed to see that Neymar is a left wing, which is a shame, but also not, because it means maybe he won't be as expensive, but it is, you know, bound to be his highest rated card. He does have a headliner that I believe is like 95, but I don't feel like Neymar deserves a 99, and I gave the 99 to Mbappe just because I've seen a lot of people say it, but otherwise at default I would probably say he's also a 98, but that would be pretty huge in terms of ratings, to have them two in the same Team of the Season squad. And obviously all these cards, well, I say that, yeah, all of these cards will be in this week, but only the top tier ones like these 3, and maybe a Di Maria or something, will actually get in for 2 weeks in a row. Obviously Ultimates after this, who as a team I will actually do another predictions video on, but more so on what I expect them to do in terms of SBCs and objectives, you know, just so they can kind of spice it up and make people want to play the game. That's if they even decide to do that. But yeah, we'll be making a video next week, probably early next week as well, because I am leaving this a little bit late throughout the week, and I want to get on with more videos. Anyways, Kylian Mbappé, obviously he does have the 5-star skills, but only a 4-star weak foot, and that's why his foot birthday is so expensive. Now they definitely will upgrade this guy's weak foot, as he don't really need it. A 99 rated card, as I've put him here, should be enough to tell you, yeah, he probably, you know, he'll be insane everywhere. And obviously 99 pace and 99 dribbling, that's going to be unreal. Ben Yedder, he has the 5-star weak foot, kind of makes him overpowered. He has a lot of great links, he has a lot of traits, and as you can see, he does have the physicals to go with his 97 pace. And Ben Yedder in this game is so clinical, it's unreal. And then Neymar, who of course will be a left wing, so ignore the positioning, but more so look at his stats. Now you'd probably question why I put Mbappe higher rating when he has overall worse stats. That's just because of the physical department, and I think you know, Mbappe's just had a more prolific year, you know, and that's kind of why I've judged this at Neymar getting the higher rating. I mean lower rating. But overall, all 3 of these cards look insane, and the other players that you could maybe get in SBCs, we'll have to wait and see. we could be looking at maybe some flashbacks of previous Ligue 1 players in their team with these season cards. But it really is in question about what they're going to do. They always release 2 objective cards of the same league, and then a minor league, and then they'll bring it on SBC for the main league. The minor leagues that they've just released have come together, and that makes me think that Rest of World and whatever else is next will be in the Ultimate. Just so, when you see Team at Season, it's not a guarantee that it's going to be any good, because it'll be a Rest of World player. I believe last year I did that, I had like Skov or something, and I really thought it was going to be like Ericsson or something, and I was really gutted. But that's kind of how this is going to work, and I will make a video on it, as I've said. Anyways, this is pretty much the squad entirely done for me. I've gone over a lot of the players and what to expect in terms of SBCs and objectives. There'll only be 1 or 2 objective main leagues, and possibly, just the 1 secondary league, and then expect an SBC and a League SBC. And that's kind of how they've gone with the content drops this team of the season. Now that all my players are out the way, my predictions are finished with, and I've spoken about the promo. That's pretty much me done for this video, so make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.